Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. Guess what? We aren't in Shaded Woods yet. I forgot that we need to do Sinner's Rise. Quickly, you need to remember the Bastille key. Make sure you've done Belfry Luna before you go to Sinner's Rise. You need a fragrant branch of yore. And make sure you get some flame butterflies as well. These are the kind of items you need for Sinner's Rise. You can see him using the pyromancy there, that big guy. I think that's maybe the first time we've seen that in this video. So you've got to take these undead citizens out. Remember, you get the ones with the brown cores and the one with the black cores. The ones with the black cores cause petrification, and the ones with the brown cores, the light brown cores, cause AoE explosion damage. The black cores are unblockable, I believe. Whereas the brown cores, you can block the explosion if you've got a high stability shield. And you'll see in a second the reason why we need a fragrant branch of yore. It's to unpetrify the dude that's up here, Straid. We couldn't do that before. And you've got all these undead citizens surrounding him as well. Not the best position for a bonfire. I actually think maybe it was undead citizens that petrified Straid. Anyway, let's speak to him. Very important character for lore and for items, trading your boss souls.
Still a bit stiff, I'm afraid.
He's got quite a lackadaisical attitude to the, considering the fact he's been petrified.
I am Straid,
For a long time.
sorcerer of sorts. I've been a guest for a very long time, but I don't think that anybody will miss me.
Somebody else had that dialogue. Lucatil. Yeah, Lucatil said nobody will miss her in wherever, Mirror.
Very good. Very good.
Same voice actor that,
Cursed one, weak in
sorry, wait a second.
but I, Straid, will teach you my spell.
It's interesting that he identifies as the cursed one. You know, we've just met the guy. Flame Swave, very powerful pyromancy, I believe. And he's got some other powerful spells that he sells. And you can trade your boss souls for various weapons and shields and whatnot. Smelter sword, so you get lots of lore here. Talks about how the smelter demon incinerated the king. And it gives us the reason for the executioner's chariot area. It was basically just to torture undead. Dragon riders, they'll become important later on, and we get the lore about them being King Vendrick's royal guard, which is important for an event that happens later. And we get the information about the covetous demon. It says, why did it never leave the queen's side? Perhaps it was entranced by some perversion of love. And then Mitha, fairest queen of the land, she became unhinged and she surrounded the Iron Keep with poison, probably out of spite because the old Iron King went with a floozy and abandoned her.
Kingdom to have crumbled, I see. Why didn't anyone wake me sooner?
Because they were too scared to come up here with all these undead citizens, I think.
Drangleic. I've never heard
So that just tells you how old,
this place.
possibly how old Drangleic is. A very, very old. Or very new actually, maybe, unless if Straid hasn't been petrified that long.
Cursed one.
But I think that imply basically that he has been petrified.
Of course, you came of your own free will.
Which she's sarcastically suggesting that we were preordained to come here, that it was outside of our will, our free will,
Would rather keep
our arrival in Drangleic.
things out of sight, out of mind. In the end,
So it wasn't called Drangleic then when the Bastille Lord made this prison, because otherwise how would Straid know
meek mind
about the fact that the undead were corralled here and the purpose of this prison? And how would he be in the prison as well if he wasn't here If you know, it's impossible for him to be here before it was built, unless somebody moved him here. There was something else about Straid. Oh yeah, it's the same voice actor as Framt from Dark Souls 1. So we get some petrified bone dust or sublime bone dust there, can't remember which. So we've got these royal swordsmen. The way across this bridge is the way to Sinner's Rise, and if you look up you can see that there's like about 3 or 4, it's actually 3 crossbow wielding royal swordsmen, so this is a trap. But yeah, I found that interesting that he sarcastically suggests that we had no choice but to come to Drangleic, and you could hear those royal swordsmen dropping down from above. I didn't know where they were coming from, but they come from behind there, and wasn't being very clever here. Bit better there. These royal swordsmen are quite easy and, you know, individually. It's when they gang up on you in numbers and they stun lock you with their sword that they can be dangerous. Really should be more take more risks and try and parry their sword. So when you come up the ladders, come into the right, pick up this large soul of a lost undead, and we're going to come to another dangerous bonfire. Because this bonfire spawns you directly in front of all the royal swordsmen with the crossbows. So don't rest at this bonfire, just tag the bonfire. And if, like me, you enjoy lighting the torches and lighting the sconces, well, there's one right behind you, so do that. And obviously, I've got to assume that Sinner's Rise is where they imprisoned the most dangerous prisoners, because it's out of the way of the rest of the Bastille. Get a human effigy here, always important. And obviously it's next to sheer drop cliffs, it's right next to the sea. Yeah, so I'm assuming this is where they brought the most dangerous prisoners. Either that, or the prisoners that came off the ships. Because remember, we got the lore description before. I think it was in No Man's Wharf about the Flexile Sentry and whatnot, and the ship being a prisoner ship. And then bringing the prisoners to Lost Bastille. And maybe the ship docked below in Sinner's Rise, and some of the prisoners were temporarily kept in cells below here, and then moved to the main part of the prison. So normally I think you only get 3 crossbow wielding royal swordsmen in here, but there's 4 because one of the guys from up above fell down here. And these guys have a chance to drop common fruit, life gems in their armour sets, and their weapon as well, I think. So you're going to come down the lift, and that item there is just lacerating knives. If you want some throwing knives that lacerate the skin and cause bleeding damage, that's where to get them. This is where you summon Lucatiel of Mirrah, as you could just see, and we'll do that later on. Don't do it just now. Make sure you light this sconce, and this is the reason you need the flame butterflies, because you need to do something with the torch before the boss fight. And obviously that was just to show you that if you roll through the water, it's going to extinguish the flame in your torch. So these enemies are called not artificial undead, that's the other guys. I've got the name written down. Enhanced undead. They're a strange mix of creatures, kind of look humanoid, mixed in with like lobster or something. I don't know. 1100 health points. They have the chance to drop one of the strongest great hammers in the game, the malformed skull. They also have a chance to drop the bow and shield that the wee bell keepers use. We picked up a sublime bone dust there, so that'll increase the amount of health points we get restored with each Estus swig once we burn it at the bonfire in Majula. But yeah, these guys, you don't really want to fight them in the water. Try and drag them back up to the lift area. It looks like we're doing them a favour because they look like they're in a lot of misery and pain. That's one thing about this area that's a wee bit annoying because of the water. To be honest, this isn't my favourite area. And I actually think the Lost Sinner boss fight, I've read before that people find it difficult, but I don't know whether it's, you know, the fight just suits the way that I play my playstyle or whatever. But every time I've fought the Lost Sinner, I found it very straightforward. And that's not just with Lucatiel, that's on my own a few times as well. Anyway, we get the Northern Ritual Band here. The Southern Ritual Band was increased your attunement slots. I think I mentioned, we picked it up in the previous episode and I forgot to read the description properly. I even said it in the description that it gives you an attunement slot. There was something I was going to say. Yeah, watch out, we've got these undead citizens as well. They're lurking in the darkest corners of the cells around here. And they also lie hidden underwater as well. So you can kind of get surprised by them. Here's a couple sitting here. That's why throwing knives are quite useful around here as well. Because, you know, it's a quick way of just taking them out from distance. Most of yeah, you need the Bastille key in this area because you need it to access some of the cells. And remember, you get the Bastille key from the area after the Belfry Gargoyles fight, where Vorgol the Sinner is and all the dogs, for the homage to the Capra Demon fight in Dark Souls 1. That area where I opened the illusory wall and I went out and picked up the Northern Ritual Band, that's when you come down the stairs with the lift area. So you're coming down the stairs from where the lift area was, turn right and just go up to the wall and just press your button and it should reveal it. Yeah, it's mostly brown core undead citizens around here. Panicked here. Rather than the black core ones. I was thinking about going back to the scones to light my torch, but who cares, I'll just use the flame butterflies because there's actually an NPC vendor you can buy them from later on in the game. So don't worry about that, don't worry about using them up. Well, that's what I'm talking about, because torches are limited. So you can only use the flame butterflies if you've got a torch. I got a fright when that human came out there, his ghost. And then this is strange, watch this. So we get knocked under the water with a flame, and yet it doesn't get extinguished, and yet when we roll through the water, the flame's extinguished. Doesn't make much sense. Doesn't matter though. I'm glad it didn't extinguish, obviously. But yeah, I'm not really a massive fan of this wee area. Just don't like the... It would be good if there was a rusted iron ring or something that allowed you to walk through the water at normal pace. So picked up a Pharaoh's Lockstone there, and can't remember the other item, but it's good to pick up all your wee treasures as you make your way towards the boss fight. Turn round here and light the scones, just so in case you need to come back for the boss fight, you've got 2 sconces lit. And this is just both sides, left and right, me opening the doors at the top level. So we're going to go across here, and you can see that there's stairs that rise up to the left and right. Go whatever one you want first, but make sure you go up to both of them and you light the oil. You'll see that there's oil in here. Reminds me of the Goonies, this bit. And then there's an item back here. Radiant Life Gem. And this is the other side. Somebody else has got the same idea as us. And I'm going to run back to summon Lucatiel. I'm not going to show you all that. and then we'll make our way to the boss fight. And to get prepared for the boss fight, you want to maybe use, I wanted to try poison out on her, and it is a her, a she, a female, the Lost Sinner. See the wee parasitic bug? Are we fighting the body, or are we fighting the parasitic bug that controls the body of the Lost Sinner? I think so. I think it's the actual bug that you're fighting, just like the Bed of Chaos fight. You weren't actually fighting the big tree-like structure, you were actually... The final boss was actually the wee parasite. And I think that's the same story here with the Lost Sinner. Anyway, yeah, you want to have lots of stamina regen, because you're going to be moving around and diving and ducking quite a lot here. The most dangerous move that the Lost Sinner has, in my opinion, is that one, where she jumps behind you and tries to backstab you. She also has surprising reach with her sword, or the bug has surprising reach with the sword that wields through the body. I'm not going to use that big long term to describe it, just call her her, call it her. But yeah, like I say, I find the Lost Sinner a very easy boss to take on. You might want to use, just like the Belfry Gargoyles fight, you might want to use life gems rather than Estus Flask to heal up. You've got plenty of space in which to move around the room. Make sure that you light the oil before you come in here, because having the light increases the lock-on range with the Lost Sinner. So if you've not tried to use some dark magic here which is resistant to it, think of charcoal. To be honest, I'm not sure what other resins work here. I should have done a wee bit more research to find that out. The poison didn't seem to work, but I believe she can be poisoned. I just maybe didn't get enough hits in against her. And again, Lucatio finishes the fight for me, just like the Smelter Demon. Yeah, so make sure that you light the oil baths that surround the arena, because it increases the lock-on range. I wonder if the Lost Sinner is responsible for all these symbols that are on the ground. Did she inscribe them into the ground? I think so, perhaps. So maybe try using a gold pine resin against the Lost Sinner, because I believe she is actually, thinking about it, weak to lightning damage. In the next episode, it definitely is Shaded Woods. I've looked at the videos I've got, and it definitely is going to be. So we picked up a Fragrant Branch of Yore, which we'll need as well later on, and Elizabeth's Mushroom, which, like I said in Dark Souls 1, is very useful. Thanks for watching, hope this had helped.